Ladies and gentlemen and in-betweeners, on this week's On the Rocks, we celebrate the sexy side of music with American Idol's Effie Passero, IMEA Electronica Artist of the Year, and first African-American to chart Billboard EDM, Adam Davenport is here from New York, and Billboard dance chart favorite Joey Suarez. And me, the only Billboard I'm on is for an ad for rehab. I'm your favorite host with the sassy most. Raise a glass and let the drinks begin.
Life is a banquet, and most poor suckers are starving to death.
I'd like to propose a toast.
This is On the Rocks with Alexander, where I drink with your favorite celebrities as we talk about fashion, entertainment, pop culture, reality TV, and, well, that's about it. So pop a cork, lean back, and raise a glass to On the Rocks.
Fasten your seatbelt. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Lord help us, buttons and bows and pantyhose. On the Rocks podcast, a place where we're too glam to give a damn. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me 26 times, you must be really good in bed. Today's show is brought to you by JustFor.Fans. It's the top award-winning site, setting the gold standard for fans to connect with their favorite adult stars. Are you on JustFor.Fans? It's free to sign up. Yeah. We'll see. Hello to our engineer, Kurt. Kurt, hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Do you have a pun for us today?
I always have a pun for you.
Make it snappy.
Did you know inspecting mirrors is a job I could really see myself doing?
No, Kurt, no laughter. You gotta wah-wah. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Adam's like...
Gas stations?
Yeah.
That could be interesting.
Oh, gas stations?
Yeah.
I haven't driven in about 4 years. Court ordered.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Works out better that way. I love Uber. Thank you to our sober listeners for tuning in on that note. We love you. Thank you for holding our hair back and driving us home. But if you are drinking, the official vodka of On the Rocks is Equality Vodka. 20% from every bottle sold helps fund nonprofits that work to secure equality for everyone. Go to equalityvodka.com, and on social media, they keep us plenty liquored up. The show is brought to you by Straw Hut Media. You can watch and or listen to every one of our now over 200 episodes for free at OnTheRocksRadioshow.com. New episodes every Thursday. Hello to our listeners around the nation on iHeartRadio, Stitcher, TuneIn, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, Roku, Pandora's new podcast section. Watch us on YouTube, Hear TV. We are streaming on the Facebook pages of Trending Now app, GED, I Love Gay LGBT, of course, On the Rocks Radio Show Facebook. Add us, subscribe to us, follow us on your favorite podcast player. Like us on Twitter and Instagram at On the Rocks On Air. Send me an email, book me for a funeral, quinceañera, bris, I don't care, I will show up. Send us your questions, comments, and nudes. Info at OnTheRocksRadioshow.com. Upcoming events. Come join me as your closing speaker for PFLAG's regional conference on February 29th in Manhattan Beach. They're the sponsoring chapter. Go to pflagmanhattanbeach.org. They want me to end it on a light note. I don't know how we're going to do that. I'll have a few drinks before. Anyway, but it's a great cause. It's a day of fellowship, storytelling, and more for PFLAG. Of course, we love PFLAG. Also, I'm your MC for Cathedral City LGBT Day's second annual block party, Friday and Saturday, March 27th and 28th. Christine W. is performing, Keisha D. And we have some other names. I think we have to work out details, but I hope we have some other names. We'll see. Go to the Roost, ROOSTCC.com for more information. Quick shout out, Gillette has a new option where you can customize a picture on your razor. Yeah, this is true. There it is.
Picture of what, though?
So the examples they showed are pictures of your family members, your kid, sports symbols, hobby pics. What do you do when you're me? You get your own face on your razor, because tipsy purchase, I'm going to be honest. But this is how much of a narcissist I am. That's me on my own razor.
We put our own name on merchandise, so I think that's
but
true.
I mean, come on. Anyway, but thank you to Gillette. I posted this picture. I've only used Gillette since high school. They sent me a little care package of blades, which is great because they're so expensive, and now I don't have to sneak past the censors at Target. Thank you, Gillette. True story. All right. You know those self-checkers that they have, you know? I hate talking to people. I hate small chat. I hate the whole thing, right? Which is funny because my job is talking, but like when that's your job, it's like when you're off, you're off. So I do the self-checkout, but if there's a problem every single goddamn time, especially when I'm buying intimate things. Valentine's weekend. Anyway, let's meet our panel of sexy music makers. Effie Passero, singer-songwriter, originally from Modesto, California, has been in LA for about 3 years. She was seen on ABC's first revival season of American Idol, where Variety, Hollywood Reporter, and Billboard called her a standout, as well as a fan-favorited underdog. Was it fixed? We will find out. Since her appearance on national TV, she has gone to work globally, touring Mexico multiple times, and nationally, where she has been seen touring with the Human Rights Campaign, gala dinners, and popping up at Pride events and more everywhere. Just came back from 2 weeks in Vegas, by the way, performing for over 16,000
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that's crazy. She sang background vocals for Barbra Streisand's latest album, and has a song streaming in Starbucks all over the country. It's so surreal to be having your coffee and they'd be like, that's my friend, that's my friend. She has also written 2 theme songs for Own Channel, where the songs have gone on to get acclaim from people all over. She's working on her first set of singles, hoping to be released by early fall.
Hoping.
In the meantime, she has a new single out, What I See, under the name Second Hour, which is Effie's duo project with fellow American Idol alum David Hernandez. The single is streaming through all platforms, and the music is available for free on YouTube. And we're going to take a little sneak peek tonight. Please welcome back to the show, Effie Passero. And making his debut on The Rocks, Joey Suarez, an independent artist, has already earned 450,000 plays worldwide, garnishing over 135,000 followers. Starting in 2016, his previous singles High in the Sky and Love Me Back have been featured in Billboard, Huffington Post, and Digital Journal. With the power of chart-topping Billboard promoter Bobby Shaw, his latest release, Alive, debuted number 3 on Billboard's breakout dance charts, above one of the members from One Direction, am I right?
Yeah.
Sorry, One Direction.
Sorry.
He recently finished up a 15-city Pride tour across the U.S., including cities New York, Vegas, L.A., Detroit, and Pittsburgh, among others. Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I mean, it was actually a lot of fun. I love Pittsburgh.
Really?
Yeah, Pittsburgh was great.
What do you call Pittsburghonians?
I didn't ask,
Pitties.
but they treated me great. I had a great time.
Do they party? I imagine they're
party
very
hard.
reserved.
No,
In
they party
Pittsburgh?
hard. Yeah, I would have
You
not
go,
known it.
Pittsburgh.
They're hardcore. I
Yeah,
like you, Pittsburgh.
okay.
Invite me back.
Yeah. Because I've seen you perform at many of the Pride events, the crowds go insane because it's a full show. It's the dancing, it's the visual, and of course it's great music. If you haven't heard Joey's music, you've no doubt seen his shirtless pics all over social media.
Damn.
Please welcome our blonde Latino, Joey Suarez. There we go. Literally stopping by on his way back to New York City. He's flying out right after the show. We're going to get him plenty liquored up. Let's hope they allow him on the plane, sir. Adam Davenport graduated cum laude from Yale University's film program, and his short film Midnight Sun, which I watched last night, which he made as his thesis project while an undergraduate, became the recipient of the Panavision New Filmmaker Award, a distinction shared by the first films of Steven Soderbergh, Paul Thomas Anderson, and Jared Hess. He also became the youngest member in the playwright/directors unit of the Actors Studio, interviewing Academy Award winner Martin Landau. We just had V. Neal on last week, who did the makeup for Ed Wood, and we had a whole discussion about how amazing Martin Landau's performance was in that. Adam has graced New York stages at the Metropolitan Opera, Carnegie Hall, and Theater Row, and has also been seen on HBO's High Maintenance, which is one of my favorite shows, by the way, and stars Sweet Bitter. He co-produced the independent feature film Furlough, starring Whoopi Goldberg and Anna Paquin. And if that weren't enough, last year he became the first African-American artist-producer to chart on Billboard for EDM with his debut single, My Return Address Is You. It charted on the dance club charts for 10 weeks, surpassing Selena Gomez and Demi Lovato. Wah, wah. Most recently, he won an IMEA Award for Electronica Artist of the Year for his work on Change the World, which is a remake of the Eric Clapton song. Please welcome Adam Davenport.
I forgot I did all that.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't know the bios were going to be read out loud. I was like, oh, shit.
No, you guys, I have to tell you, I enjoyed researching this show so much because the three of you couldn't be more different, but the same at the same time, where there's this passion in your projects, and you guys are nailing it in the scene right now with performances and awards. So we're going to get to the nitty-gritty on today's episode of talking about the reality of music making. We're going to have some fun, but right off the bat, I want to know, what are the biggest obstacles facing you guys as musicians? And you guys each come from a somewhat different genre.
Money.
One of my questions is, how does a musician make money? It's not selling albums anymore.
No, it's not.
We
No,
sell
it's-
our bodies.
We sell our bodies.
Girl, I got my debit card.
Mine does
Let's charge
better.
it up.
I stick to pictures. They do better than my body these days. they don't grow old. But no. But in all reality, I
I've
think
seen a lot of you, Joey Suarez. I'm like,
just resell pictures
he
on
is
my-
Latino.
well, I mean, making money. I mean, a lot of musicians, you don't make money the same way anymore. Labels don't pay out anymore. Development deals don't exist anymore. So if you haven't figured out how to cash flow your business, which is your music, you probably aren't going to stick around for very long. And that's the truth. I mean, that's my problem. What about y'all?
I think my problem is maintaining a bright outlook. I think I'm so easily overwhelmed by the grimness of it all. And if I decide to take time off from making music, and if I don't have gigs lined up every week, then I feel guilty. I'm like, oh God, I don't deserve to sleep. Why am I not working? Why am I not gigging? I should be out playing all the time and meeting new people every day. But then I have to take a deep breath and hide under my blankets and go, no. You need to sleep. You need that time to yourself. And I think I just am so easily overwhelmed by the pressure of it all.
Well, the pressure also, like fear of missing out. It's like then you read
Yeah.
about somebody else singing a gig that you should have done, and it's like you have to take that
Yeah.
rest.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're no good.
Yeah.
But there's this duality that you guys have of what the public sees. Of course, on Instagram, social media, we see you performing, we see you winning awards, we see you knocking it out at Pride Cities. But where's the reality behind all of that, where you
Yeah.
guys are tired, having relationship issues, family issues, financial issues, whatever it might be? This is the reality of anybody with any career, but you don't have the 9-to-5 paycheck that you're like, okay, this is, I mean, you have to be a business master as well as a music master,
Yeah.
but you're not even able to share that with people. Like, you know, you could get down. Like, I know you are very, in fact, one of the questions that we had, you are very open and honest about your emotions, frustrations, and successes on social media. And so one of your fans asked, where do you draw that strength from? Are you a spiritual, religious person?
No, not at all. I gather my strength, I guess, just because I know that I'm not anywhere near done. I know that I have a lot of music to give. I have a lot of music to write in all different facets. I write classical music. I write musical theater. I write pop. I write country, EDM. I do a lot of different styles. So I know that even if I'm feeling exhausted with one style of music, there's never going to be an end for me. So I know deep down that I will get through whatever the fuck is going on in my brain, and I just have to believe in myself. And then when I sing for people and I get the responses that I get, it is always such a breath of fresh air for me, because that's another thing I worry about all the time is, what if I sing this new song and people don't like it? What am I going to do? You get the fuck up and you sing it somewhere else and you just deal with it and keep going. And I guess I've just gotten better at proving myself over and over and over again to myself.
You do have this uncanny ability to sing in many different places, from a stage to a bathroom. I have seen many bathroom videos. And you bump out with this opera. You sing opera, show tunes, pop. You create your own harmonies and melody lines. We have a friendship, and so I have the privilege of sometimes when you're in a recording session, you'll be like, this just happened in the studio. That one descant that came out of nowhere that you shared with me.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
Chris Isaac's Wicked.
Yeah, oh yeah, that was so beautiful.
And it was
I don't
literally
know.
minutes from her recording. She's like, this just happened. And it just was this natural ability where you took the song, where I've never heard the song go before. Did you always have this musical ability as a kid? When did that kind of performance and ability bug first start?
I guess I was always that annoying child that pounded on the piano, and my mom and dad kind of looked at each other and said, well, I guess she likes that, so we should probably put her in piano lessons. And so from piano, I kind of went into singing all the time, and my mom caught me singing along to Ave Maria during Christmas time. I think I was 3.
Which one? Schubert?
Oh, Schubert, yeah.
Yeah. There is no other but Schubert, right?
Just Schubert.
Yeah.
So yeah, at 3 years old, my mom and dad just decided, that she obviously is going to be good at this, so we should nurture it. So I was really lucky to have supportive parents, and all throughout high school, all throughout every up and down, I was supported through music with my family. And my brothers, they were dragged to every single recital and rehearsal and piano lessons, and my family has always been very supportive. I was very lucky. So I guess I was born with it, but I got the the nurturing and the lessons I needed to help really expand my knowledge.
And did you have the formal training? Did you go to voice lessons? Did you do like musical composition, like all of that kind of stuff?
I studied opera for 12 years, which is a long time to ultimately decide that you don't want to do that anymore. But I finally went to school for it. I went to Cal State Fullerton, and I made it a couple semesters
music
in.
school.
Oh, great. But I made it a couple semesters in, and I knew deep down that between studying hardcore and being forced to study the music that you thought you loved so much, and it really just kind of did the opposite for me. I was like, oh, you know what? I'd actually kind of prefer, I would be in the practice rooms just writing music instead of practicing my pieces.
Yeah.
So I learned very quickly that writing music and expressing things the way that I wanted to and not the way Mozart wanted to was actually what I was more passionate about than anything else. So my trajectory has been very odd. It's been, whose music life hasn't been odd, but
Right? Yeah. Do you know, Patti LuPone was being trained as an opera singer, and she was like, I can't do this. It's not my voice. Can you imagine with that? I mean, that just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
And I think we shared this last time we were on the show. I went to Chapman University, which is a
great
amazing
school.
music school. I had a scholarship. They took every joy I had for music out of my life.
Seriously.
Where I hated music. I hated going to class. I hated even singing to the point that my throat closed up. I wanted to sing, Charlie Brown and Rent, and they wanted me to sing, and it was like, that's not me.
It's exhausting. Yeah.
Tenor?
Baritone.
Oh, I knew it.
Even though my voice is super high, they're like, okay, and I'm like, no.
No, well, that was another thing, especially with the opera world. They want everybody to be something, they have a specific lane to put you in. So all my life I was told, coloratura, you're going to be singing the pretty bird shit. And I was like, no, I don't really feel like I mean, I could do it at the time, but a woman's voice takes a long time to mature. And so now here I am, 28 years old, and I'm totally a full-blown mezzo-soprano, like I told them I was going to be. So, it's just...
And a belter, too.
Well,
I mean, your range is just amazing. Adam, what obstacles do you face as a musician?
I think it's a question of limited bandwidth. So we all have limited resources to deal with as independent artists. So maybe your promotional budget is, whether it's $500 or $2,000, so you're making a decision of, well, I can hire Bobby Shaw to do my Billboard promotion, or I could do a Spotify campaign, or let's go for commercial radio on this single. So I think you kind of have to make specific choices about what you want to accomplish with each track, rather than, because you're not going to have the resources, well, maybe one day, but while you're starting out with each subsequent release, you're not going to have $100,000 to accomplish all those things that the Taylor Swifts of the world are equipped with. So you kind of, I think, with each song, are kind of slowly expanding your following. So I've tried to see it as a long-term strategy rather than, I think, it's always managing your expectations, and you're thinking like, oh, this next song is gonna blow up. I think I've dialed in those expectations and just figured, oh, it's just about having longevity, and with each track trying to do something different than I did before. So the people that all are aware of you and are following not only stay engaged, but they remain interested in what you're doing.
Have you ever mapped out a song incorrectly, like chosen the wrong thing? Because I haven't done any of this yet. So I guess that's probably one of my biggest fears, too, is what if I decide to do an Instagram push and I put $500 towards my marketing on Instagram, and then it doesn't actually come up with anything.
Well, I think you're diving into a whole nother subject of like how independent artists have made the most of their money. And I think all of us have mastered various ways of making our money count. So like speaking to your whole bandwidth, like we've expanded what a dollar means, right? Like $500 can mean a lot different to a Taylor Swift than it does to us.
Yeah.
And a lot of what, I mean, like I have a whole business on the side where I help independent artists like turn their social media into real money and turn that $500 as much as 5,000, maybe even 500,000. Like you can accomplish a lot. And I think as an independent artist, you realize, you go to these labels and they're like, oh yeah, it's a great song. We could do that. We could get you #1 on Billboard for $30,000. You just have to pay half. And you're like, wait, what? Like that's awkward. And then you find out, and then eventually, people come up to you who really believe in your music and they're like, man, like I got you. And you're like, wait, what? Like, oh, I got you. And next thing you know, that $30,000 turns into $5,000. And you're like, what the hell was I thinking at the beginning? Like over time, you kind of learn to work with what you got. And as you go with those experiences and every song you put out, that dollar amount's going to go down and down and down based on trust, experience, and bandwidth. And the more you have to offer, the more people are going to be willing to give you. So if you kind of invest in yourself at first, be willing to put up that money, be willing to invest $100,000 into a song and go wrong, because somewhere you're going to end up right. Somewhere someone's going to see the effort. And I mean, that was my personal experience, like going from independent artists into like dealing with labels. I'm like, this is a whole nother game, because what I use money for is so different than what they use money for. And they just want to put me in debt. So it's a whole nother world out there. I think it's a great point to make, like, what are the pain points? Because I think there needs to be more independent artists. I don't think we need to all keep signing over these people our pieces of music. We need to hold strong to what we believe in, be willing to sacrifice it, and then just kind of learn from there. Like, I think what's beautiful about your career, Effie, is that you've really learned to listen to music. You hear it, you know where it fits, and you let it go there, which is a beautiful thing. A lot of artists like myself are very much like, we're stuck in our zone. Like, we're like, okay, I'm going to master EDM, but there is a time where your music does start kind of leaning other ways. And you're like, you know what? This song isn't meant for EDM. This song's meant for a movie. This song's meant for TV. This song isn't even meant for me. Can somebody else sing this song for me, please? Like,
But that's such a hard moment, I can imagine. And also, like, if you put a song out for the Pride crowd, you know it's gonna sell, even though maybe it's not the most substantial or whatever. It has a good hook, it has a poppy beat, but it's like, well, like, you know that it's going to go far. Right. And so it is a gamble to try to do something new or expand. The industry is tough, and social media is so interesting. Paying for sponsorships or who knows what's actually working out there, because I've heard the algorithms are changing constantly. And you guys are trying to produce creatively, which is so different than this business model of what algorithms are hitting, when, should I be doing this?
I mean, I'll always say first, I'm at first a businessman in music for me.
But you have to be.
Even you have to be. I mean,
Yeah.
I've just pulled a lot of my knowledge from like cannabis. Like I own and run a couple of cannabis companies. And
How do you get any work done?
I mean, yeah, you're telling me. You don't want to know.
Let's take a break today. We've worked hard.
You don't want to know my day. You don't want to know my day. I mean, I work 5 days a week and then I tour all weekend. So it's like, it's a crazy life. But I mean, that knowledge that I get from cannabis, like if you really treat your music like a business, if you really focus on like catering to brands, catering to your fans, like it will go in your favor. These labels got nothing on you. You have the talent. You have the face. You have the attention of your fans. You don't need all these people. If once you get to the point where you do need them, then you'll know their value. But I feel like those questions you're saying, like, what about all the business? What about the business? That's an important question. Like, you need to know the business, and we're there. Ask us.
And also with social media, the biggest complaint I get from musicians that are on the show, we had Jessica Sutta, who just reunited with Pussycat Dolls, and her biggest complaint was, you put out like a picture of your muscles, you put a shirtless picture, fans comment on a lot, and it's like likes, comments, and then you share, hey, here's 30 seconds of my latest song that's not showcasing that, and it's like interaction, and it's like, well, I'm an artist, this is what I'm selling first.
Welcome to marketing.
Or even when you try to support other artists, and then you post something like, if David has a show, or if Jay Rodriguez has a show, or whomever, I try and do that. And I was doing it on my actual Instagram, but now I just do it in stories, because I'm like, nobody's even looking at this shit anyways, and I feel so bad. We all want to be there for each other. But when it comes to our fans, and this is something that I've learned personally, is they're there for you. They're not there to see who your friends are and see what shows they're doing. If you're doing a show that's nearby them, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
It sucks. It hurts me deep down.
But it should motivate you to collaborate and to work together. And you and David have a song together, which is beautiful, by the way. I love the song. And I post about it all the time, because no matter if they want to hear it or not, they need to understand that, like, we are meant to collaborate. We're meant to support each other. And a large part of, like, we'll get into this privately, but social media nowadays, the way it's changed is it's all based on how we support each other. So if our fans are commenting, if I'm commenting on you and you're commenting on me, like, our fans are going to see that. And now we truly are feeding into each other, while before, the way Instagram was set up, it wasn't that way. So a lot of people are feeling like, oh, why are people not interacting? It's because maybe you weren't interacting before. Maybe you were just enjoying how many followers were just falling onto your lap, because, we had a couple things going for us. But now's the time to pick up your phone and start commenting, start sharing, start linking, start swiping up. do it every day if you have to. Like this is the time.
So
cold.
exhausting.
I hate social media.
Well, I automate it, just so you know. I automate a lot of it, so don't take advantage of tools.
Let's talk about something happy.
Right. Well,
Like, God damn.
something happy. Let's talk about how.
God.
Well, here's something.
Pass me the alcohol.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
That's really what's
Jesus.
happening.
Oh, you do need some more.
Same.
Something about an award
Same.
show.
Oh, God. And then we
yeah.
have to do a cheers because we didn't do
Yeah.
it to start off.
Yeah.
You tell me when to stop. I'm
So
counting to 6.
I wanna talk about something
4, 5,
that
6.
is not cheerful or whatever, but has become a positive. And Adam, we were talking about our support system and collaboration. This is an important part of your backstory, and I think it's important for our listeners and viewers to know who are on their own path. And we get emails from small towns out in the middle of nowhere saying, "Hey, I saw what this person had to say, and I feel like I can do this." Your fans may not know you actually grew up in one of the poorest neighborhoods in the nation. On top of that, your coming out was not the most fun. You actually survived conversion therapy.
Oh, no.
Which is a lot
That's a lot to
to
unpack.
handle. So what I want to know is, growing up in one of the poorest neighborhoods, what positive, if any, did you take away from that? Because now you're in this entertainment field where we know extravagance is every day. And to have that kind of environment, you've been going to the award shows, you went to the Grammys, you've been winning awards, and then to keep thinking of literally growing up in a poverty level city.
Well, anything I've had at a personal level or professionally, I've had to earn. Nothing's ever been given to me. So even whether it was being accepted to Yale, and then the question of how to afford it was because I at the expense of not having friendships and being a nerd and not being popular.
You were a nerd. I don't believe it.
I stayed in. These muscles came later in life. I was a late bloomer, but I stayed in and studied. And so anything I've had came with work. And so I think it's probably made me maybe more humble than I need to be. But I think in an industry where there's a lot of bravado, and so I sometimes hesitate. I'm often reminded of things that would be talking points. Let's say I'm in a room with an agent or an executive, and maybe there's someone else in the room who says, "Oh, tell them about that," and I'm thinking, "Oh, well, I don't know. That's if you Google that's online. Why do I have to talk about that myself?" So I think I do think it's for me. It's just shifted the focus on work ethic. So. That's why you do. I'm working with a publicist now. I think that's why you have teams that represent you. And I
prefer, by the way.
I prefer them. There in the old school days. I mean, Denzel Washington and Meryl Streep are not on social media. I would like to be that type of artist. I don't have a big social media.
So freeing.
I don't have a big social media following. I think I have 8,000 followers, and I'm not very consistent in posting or paying attention to it. But I'll put up things, and so I think my value system is just a little different than other people. So it works for me.
Adam, where do you get off even applying to Yale University? How does that even get into your mind?
Well, whoa, this is strong.
Well, it's just vodka.
As strong as your arms. Those are my arms.
That was
my
straight
friend.
vodka.
He didn't ever put any. I was waiting for him.
I thought, I wasn't
he's
going
gonna
to
sleep the
assume
whole
he
way to
wanted
Newark.
the
Well,
strawberry.
when I was a
Yes.
kid, I was obsessed with
may I
Jodie
please?
Foster.
Oh.
And and Meryl Streep also went to Yale. So I was obsessed with these actresses because that whole the 80s, all these strong women came out of Yale Drama School. So it was and the undergraduate program. Angela Bassett, Frances McDormand, and so I
love Frances McDormand because she's so natural. Yeah. She's so weird.
She's quirky.
So
I kind of wanted you study where your heroes go, and so I'm like, this Yale place, I need to go there. So I applied early decision without even having visited, and it worked out. So I in December knew where I was going to college, and then I was able to relax a little bit, like my last semester of senior year. And then started having sex. Oops, should I say that?
Yes. So you mean having sex as a gay man or sex in general?
No, as a gay man.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, we didn't even talk about conversion therapy. So that was very uncomfortable. I didn't go very long. I went for the summer going into my freshman year of high school. There were 2 different doctors that I saw. But finally, the first doctor I had one session with, and he wouldn't see me. So then they sent me to another doctor who I saw that summer. And then finally he sat my parents down and said, this isn't going to work. It only works for people who don't identify with these feelings and want to change. Adam.
People who are shamed into...
I was very resistant to the therapy. I remember one session I was walking around the office and I was looking at the books. And I think I asked once very directly, I said, how much are my parents paying for this?
Yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah.
It's not covered under insurance.
It's now, I went in Illinois, and it's illegal now in Illinois. So, I think those experiences, it's taken some time for me to be okay with who I am. And so I think that's an important thing, too, as an artist, having self-acceptance. Because I think you are your own biggest obstacle in life in general. So,
but let's talk about this, because you guys not only are vocally naked in front of people when you do a live performance, but also when you release something new, releasing it and knowing it's there, checking the phone, seeing. I mean, that's got to be the most nerve-wracking thing. But on top of that, it's also image, and it's all of this. Like on American Idol, your style was so different than anything else on the show. It's like, who the hell is this person, right? And that always has to be playing in your mind. Like, Joey, you can't go eat a plate of nachos, and your whole thing is like being lean and mean. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's this image that's always in front of the creativity, which for me would stifle me. I'm on radio, like, I'll have Kentucky Fried Chicken. I don't care.
Yeah.
But you guys keep having to think about image.
Yeah.
Well, that's got to be so exhausting.
You're not alone in that thought, though. And I think a lot of artists struggle to realize that, you have a perspective that's so close to the goal that you can't actually see what's going to get you there. And you got to be willing to invest in a creative team that could help mold you into that. Like I would not normally wear this, but you know what? I have.
It's fantastic.
Thank you. I'm proud.
When I'm in jail, I'm gonna knit you another one.
Thank you.
Revolution.
You know I will.
It's like
I
it's like
know.
60s pop. Like, I mean,
It's like monkeys.
It reminds me of Buddy Holly.
Right,
Yeah, it's
I
Buddy
love
Holly
it. I
and, like,
think it's
little
amazing.
monkeys.
But
Yeah.
like, I think that's the point. Is like you want,
Yeah.
like you were saying earlier, it's crazy when you're like, yeah, you look a certain way on social media, and like I suffered from this very early on. Is people did not care that I could sing. I was just pretty to look at, and they're like, just post a picture, we don't care.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I have all these plays on Spotify. None of the people on Spotify knew who I was on Instagram, and none of the people on Instagram knew who I was on
Audiences
Spotify.
do not carry over. It's
They
the
don't carry
strangest
over.
thing.
So I had to basically invest in myself, a creative team that could help me merge those two ideas. I'm like, okay, so my voice sounds one way. This is how I look on social media. Is there a middle ground to this? I don't have that answer. And so you shouldn't answer that question by yourself. You should have a group of people who believe in you, your music, and what it means to other people. They'll help you find that answer. And I think that's a really big step that a lot of artists don't take. And it's really, honestly, don't hire a manager, don't hire an agent, hire a creative director, hire a PR team. They are the people who are going to help you find yourself first.
But you do steer that vision, and not everybody can hire a creative team.
Some people do it for free. You don't know.
True.
Yeah.
But I know, like, you have a very clear idea of what your image is, what your sound is. And Adam, you're in front of the camera in so many different ways, from the music, from the red carpets at these events, but also as an actor, too. I think you have a very clear idea of what your image is, or the image that you want to portray.
I'm gonna add on that. Actually, since Idol, my evolution has been quite drastic, because when I was on the show, I was in my pinup phase, and I had my mohawk, and I mean, I was definitely the only one with tattoos.
Yeah.
And I was the only one with humongous tits. And I was the only one just wearing dresses. And
Well,
not...
Simon Cowell, to be fair, also has humongous tits.
Not nicely.
Ew.
Not as nice. Not nearly as nice.
And it was really, really interesting to see the divide in my fans. So many people loved my voice, but they were like, you don't have the body type to even wear dresses, which I just thought was a really interesting insult. I was like, what is exactly the body type for dresses? What are you talking about? And so many people, you know, they had a lot of insinuations about me that weren't obviously true because of the way that I dressed. And so I was like, well, let me just, you know, take that dive into myself and see what I want to do. And so I started to dress just kind of more comfortable, and I was in shorts and a t-shirt and just rocking out with Converse. And the more that I changed my image, the more that I realized that people were actually kind of coming from the Spotify and the Facebook, and they were there for the voice and not necessarily the image. It's been an interesting thing to watch happen because I could wear literally anything and people are like, okay, but where are you singing next? And that's really been nice.
Yeah.
So it's helped me as a woman to not have to worry about my image all the fucking time.
Yeah.
And that has been the most awakening thing for me since getting off Idol. Because obviously when you're on national TV, you're concerned about what people are going to think about you, and you dress a certain way and you wear certain heels and you do all these things. And then in the long run, sometimes people don't care. It's been nice.
Well, and when you're on a show like American Idol, you also have the producers, you have the advertisers, you have people whispering like,
Bleh. Yeah.
And that's gotta be frustrating too.
Yeah, it is.
And-
It's a fun time.
And I know fans, and we've had our conversation as to the reality of the voting system on American Idol, how real it is, what
So
story
real.
that they're telling.
So real.
So real.
It's like CNN.
You get 23 votes.
Fake news. Yeah.
Did you say CNN's fake news? Oh my God, girl. They're going to be storming in the streets. But Effie, can you share with us, what is the reality of life after American Idol? And I mean not right after you're voted off, but I mean right after, because then once you're voted off, then you have all the exit interviews on major, media platforms. But then it's like, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And then you go home with your luggage and you're like, okay, you're literally on your own.
Yeah.
What is that reality like?
I tell everybody who ever asked me, I said, if you want to audition and you want to see where this life can take you, by all means, go for it. But please understand that it is a TV show before it's an actual reality or a voice competition. It is reality TV. They're looking for something very specific. And if you make it far, then that was just pure luck. I acknowledge my luck all the time. I've worked very hard to be able to sing like I can, but when it comes to a TV show, it was very much luck, and because I had some weird image that they liked at the time. So after I was eliminated, I only made it to the top 20, which sounds like, you know, a far time, but in reality of the show, it's I was forgotten in 20 seconds, you know.
Well, but yes and no. I mean, you say, top 20, your fans and your performances have gone viral from your duet, from your so even the initial auditioning for American Idol with an original piece at a piano that you're playing yourself takes some balls. And I don't mean to be sexist, but
yeah.
And the judges are like, oh, this bitch, original song with the piano. And you can watch this video on YouTube because it's gone viral. And they just sit there staring, mesmerized.
Yeah.
Because the minute your fingers hit the keys and your voice comes out. So top 20, yes, but I think the image, I can't even name you the other 10.
That's true. That's true. It was just a really humbling experience. I was one of the oldest contestants because I'm an ancient artifact at this point. And so all the other contestants are running around Snapchatting and Instagramming, and I'm sitting there reading the New York Times like half an hour early to every call. I just was so unfazed by the reality TV show thing. I kept my head and I said, if this does anything for me, I hope that I can at least work. And I was already doing some children's music and voiceover stuff beforehand. So when I was eliminated, I shook everybody's hand. I said, thank you so much. I got my in-ears that I use still to this day. And I went on my merry way. And it took me like a few days to actually have like the breakdown because I didn't have an apartment anymore. I had to give it up because they don't pay you.
And you had to couch surf a little bit.
So I was like technically Los Angeles homeless for a minute, couch surfing and doing that whole thing. But luckily I had a really beautiful support system, and I had friends who kind of, they understood, and they've all been through it as well. We all have those little bumps in our lives. So when I finally found a place, it was so relieving. And I was working the prides, and I was doing a lot of corporate stuff. And that is really what saved me, is just doing corporate things. And then because I was doing those big events that paid rent and then some, I was able to start really exploring myself as a musician and seeing what kind of music I wanted to put out in the world, work with other people. I had never been a top liner before. I'd never been in writing rooms with other people. But as I worked on myself and I worked on my work ethic, I became known more for myself than the American Idol name. So I tell people it's up to you how you keep the hype going for yourself. Mm-hmm. You could, like you said, you don't even remember some of the top 10. That's because none of them did anything after they were eliminated.
Reality TV is such a bubble, and once that bubble bursts, you're gone.
Yeah, TV in general is a very hard thing to crack. Right. And so I would never do it again for myself. But I auditioned for America's Got Talent because a friend helped me get an audition. This was like a month ago before I left for Canada.
Why didn't you call me? I know you don't have to audition.
Oh, no, it was fine. It was actually, my heart necessarily wasn't in it because I've already been through that ride. Yeah. And I'm working and I'm continuing to learn about myself, and I don't need a TV show to do that anymore.
Right.
So it was good for me. It was good for me to go and do it and just be that smiley person and sing my covers, even though they had the most atrocious sound system. I was like, why even have me here? You have a piano that's janky as fuck and one speaker that can't speak anything. But
I've heard they're not prepared.
They're not. Yeah, it was terrible. And I went out and found out by the end of the day that I didn't make it, and I wasn't even phased. I just, I was kind of like, okay, on to the next thing. Let me go work some more.
Well, America's Got Talent, they want the next Susan Boyle. Like, they want somebody that's not there.
Yeah.
They want, like, the underdog, which you were kind of considered American Idol. I want to take a look at your latest release. We're going to have a sneak peek at your collaboration with David Hernandez, Second Hour. What does that even mean?
So, actually, David's boyfriend, Derek, came up with the name.
He's so nice and handsome.
He's so beautiful.
They're both so pretty.
They're so beautiful.
But they don't have an open relationship. I brought nachos over.
She checked.
I was like, I brought some nachos. No, I'm just teasing.
That's not what happened in Mexico. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, she just spilled the tea. Someone get a napkin.
Have some more quality vodka.
No,
I'm just teasing. They're the sweetest couple.
They're the best. So Second Hour was Derek's idea, and it's actually kind of, if you go back to elementary school, and we had like hour of classes, and it was first period, second period. Second period was always better than first period because you were a little bit.
You had period classes in second grade?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's
Yeah, we had, all the things. I was living in Florida, so it was different.
Me too.
Where?
We're in Florida.
Yeah, where?
I was in Miami, Florida. I was in
What?
Girl, where?
Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, not there. I
know, but so close.
So close.
Plantation, technically.
I was in Cutler Bay.
What?
Oh my God, me too, you guys.
Wait, how old are you?
I'm 27.
Oh my God, we were there the same
Never
time.
Say age.
I mean, don't worry, the tabloids lie all the time.
Oh my Lanta. Anyway, so second period was always better than first period because you were a little bit more awake. So yeah, it was Derek's idea. So good job, Derek.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Derek. We love the song.
So we're going to take a little peek at a sneak peek. This is a portion. You guys, they put this on YouTube for free. Follow, share, comment. Let's take a little peek. It's gorgeous.
And after all this time, baby, I just thought maybe we could put our weapons down. After all this time, baby, I just thought maybe we could turn it all around. But now it's clear to me, so clear to me, that you don't see what I see. No, you don't see what I see. I see times I get rough, and I just want Did it turn us into monsters? Are we just weak? You don't see what I see. No, you don't see what I see. You don't see what I see.
Beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
On that note, we're going to take a break. And we're back. That's how we do it here. And just FYI, written piano by Effie.
So good.
Amazing.
Oh, thank you.
So, but I want to talk a little bit about growing up. You grew up, Joey, openly gay in Texas, by the way.
Oh yeah.
What was that
Transplanted.
like?
I mean, I grew up Mormon.
Oh.
You guys are the best in bed, by the way. I just have to say.
We have a lot of oppressed feelings we love to express. But no, I grew up Mormon. I'm one of 12 kids. Yeah, I'm number 7. And I grew up in Miami, Florida for a long time, moved to Texas, came out of the closet. I was also put into conversion therapy.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't have to talk about that part of my life very much.
Yeah.
There's other things that are more interesting. But I definitely feel like, growing up Mormon and part of a lot of kids, and I'm Hispanic, so I'm the whitest kid in my family. You wouldn't even know.
So let's talk about this because I got some emails. I'm like, oh, is he trying to take advantage of the Latin community by saying you're Latin? I'm like, you're Latin.
I'm 100% Latin.
So-
there is not a drop of white man in me. I mean, not all the time, but...
That's a Friday night. So let me just say this. Your mother and grandparents were international dancers from Argentina.
They were.
Yeah.
Oh my God, how'd you find that out? Yes, they were.
We do some research.
Okay, yes.
I have your credit report, by the way, Adam.
My mother.
I paid off all those debts.
My mother was an amazing dancer. She had the beauty of touring when she was really young, and my grandparents were also ballet dancers. And
wow.
It's so funny though. Is it funny? I texted my mother like a few days ago. I was like, "We're number 16 on the charts," and her response was dance class. Literally.
Yeah.
Because she's very excited for me. For her, it's like until I take dance, like I'm not ready for what's coming.
But that's kind of where going to class was kind of where you developed your feeling for beat and music and
Yes,
presentation.
I mean, when you have 12 kids, and there were 6 boys, 6 girls. My mom was
my
like, "Pair up,
God.
everybody, pair up," and so we were dancing.
it's like Sound of Music,
but yes,
but weird.
but yes, everyone was musically
I
inclined.
can't even imagine.
It was
Yeah.
awesome. It was amazing. All my siblings were talented and beautiful, and they all loved music. And as a middle child, I fed off of that. I just wanted to be them. I wanted to be every single one of them. So one of them sang, I picked up singing. One of them played the piano, I picked up piano. One of them liked the sport, I picked up the sport. And so by the time I was developed as a person, I considered myself just a piece of everyone because I was like, I love everyone so much.
I
That's a
like
positive way
that.
to look at
I
it
like
because
that.
I'm an only child, so like.
Explains a lot.
But it's true. It's like the
Red.
focus has to be here. I can't even imagine. I would imagine it'd be growing up a little bit lonely. There's so much to worry about in terms of the group, in terms of even like eating dinner and bathrooms and all that.
Oh, yeah.
So how did you develop this individual identity from all of this?
You actually do in a big family like that. You're forced to. Like you're raising each other. I had one mom for about 9 years, so she couldn't do everything herself. We helped each other. So over time, you develop very quickly, very very quickly. And then on top of that, it was funny you said I was the piano player who was annoying to everybody because I just kept, a piano is a lot of repetitiveness to become good. So you definitely find out very quickly who you are based on how everyone treats you. So I was like 10 years old, knew exactly who I was, what I wanted. Like I've had the same dream since I could remember.
Yeah.
It hasn't stopped.
Same. Was there a lot of rivalry between your siblings at all?
I wouldn't call it rivalry. I'd call it like passion. Like I looked at my brothers and thought they were the greatest superstars in the world, and they were so talented and so.
Positive.
That's
I feel
so
like
cute. My brothers
get-
hated me. They're like, I'm not gonna pick up. My brother wanted to play guitar so bad, and it took him years to finally pick it up because he was like, well, we already have one musician in the family, and then my other brother did musical theater,
Right.
so then he was like, well, I can't sing either because this this bitch over here singing. Like, he hated us. Like, he didn't understand that we could all do these things and share it. That's so beautiful that you guys all shared it.
I love what you're saying though, because like I think what this is the beauty of a bigger family is when there's so few. My older brothers and sisters, they kind of did that. They're like, well, you're playing the oboe, so I'll play the trumpet. Well, you're playing the trumpet, so I'll play this. And they all kind of split up all these talents. By the time it got to me, all I could do was double up. Like they already took over every instrument in the fucking band.
We got a whole orchestra in here.
Right, exactly. So I was like, well, you know what? I'll play the piano and sing. I'll do you up one more.
So sidebar, we all play piano here. What's your piano of choice?
Oh, shit.
Ooh, baby grand all the way.
Yeah, okay. What brand are you specific towards?
He's a label queen, let's just say this.
I can't say it's a brand. It's how old the piano is.
Oh, same.
I
love that.
Because some of these venues, if you look at the history of that venue and you ask how old that piano is, some of the greatest superstars in the world have shared that keys with you.
True.
And I can never turn down a chance to pull out a baby grand. But like, we'll give you an upright. I'm like, no. You grab that one because I already know the 5 artists that touched it.
Yeah.
And I want to touch it.
I believe that piano strings are kind of like ghost. You hear that resonance from way past. You know, there's some recordings that want like a slightly out of tune piano, and it has this ghostly feeling that encompasses a lot of feelings into those piano strings.
Pianos are, I mean, like you said, like you were young and kind of just banging on a piano. That was me. I was banging on a piano before I even knew what it was. Like, I wasn't even talking sentences, and I was like, this is everything I want right now.
Yeah.
And my parents were very encouraging. And even though like they were splitting attention between a lot of kids, my mother never missed a show. She never missed a lesson, somehow afforded it. I was like, how the fuck? Like, I feel like the luckiest kid in the world to be where I'm at.
I want to talk about some of the conversion therapy.
Let's just jump into that.
Yeah, wow, nice segue, Alexander.
No, because we're talking about like what makes us who we are, and I sincerely believe passion. Music has to start with passion. You can be as like how many students did we go to school with that were the best in composition and could pitch perfect? Blah blah blah. They were the most boring to see. How did you guys not just get so angry at the idea of conversion therapy that your parents didn't accept you? Because there's a lot of angry people in the world, especially now, socially and politically, that some people just give up. They're like, I'm angry at the world, so F you. But you guys turned it into a positive and made a name for yourself. How does that even happen?
That's a great question. I mean,
make it funny.
Oh. And make it funny.
Oh, my Lanta.
Well, I think this is I think Janet Jackson's The Velvet Rope helped keep me alive. It was 1997 when I had my conversion therapy experience, and it was really dance music that was a form of escapism for me. And so that album in particular, The Velvet Rope, she's talking about embracing a lot of issues of sexuality. There's one track where she's having phone sex with a woman, and then together again she's talking about the friends she's lost from AIDS, and Free Zone, she's saying it's okay to be with a man or a woman or both. And so as a 13-year-old, my mind was blown by the possibilities that she was putting forth also on a music track. And so I think that opened a lot of doors for me creatively, and I think at a personal level. And I think the other artist I really consumed during that time was Fiona Apple, who also addresses a lot of sexuality in that album. What was it? What album was that in '97 that had Criminal
6.
on it?
I wish I knew.
Title, I think it was.
But she also had this anger to that album, which I think inspires. It's like you can get angry. You know, you can get mad at the people around you. You can get mad at your circumstance. It's how you recover from it.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I'll comment on that, especially because
I was like, it's different, but I can comment as well.
I mean,
Please do.
Yeah.
Well, would you like to go first?
No, conversion therapy first.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
That's conversion
Lay it
therapy
all
doesn't
out.
make sense. It's like, let's put hot guys.
Trauma survivor.
But we all do have trauma.
Right, we all.
Yeah.
And
No
that's
matter what walk of
And
life, even
that's-
if you've grown up in like a rich, accepting family, there's your own personal
Yes.
trauma.
And
It's
Yes.
not like
And I'll speak to that in the sense of like, you know, everyone, we got to remember trauma it feels the same, no matter who you are and what it was. And if you look at someone's eyes and you say the word trauma, you both felt that.
Yeah.
And the words you use to describe that may be different, but that experience is still the same.
Are you like Yoda? He's like
I
the
mean-
youngest
I
like
know.
sage ever. Yeah.
I
He's
mean,
very
I have a
sentient.
lot more that conversion therapy is just the surface of life experiences, but I think it was a beautiful experience for me and my parents because we learned a lot with each other. And
There was a recovery then from
I'll explain it very purely. It was like, you know, I met a couple of doctors. They, you know, attached a few electrodes. Like, you know, I went through all of that kind of experiences. But I was very rebellious. I told the doctor, I said, look, I get why you're doing this. I get that you're Mormon, but like, this is who I am. And I was 14 years old. So they didn't want to believe me. I got that. But eventually my doctors went to my parents too and said, this isn't going to work. Like, he is who he is. You got to accept it. My parents flipped out. You know, didn't want to go back to that doctor, and eventually, you know, over time, when I turned 18, and it didn't change my mind, my parents. I remember it was a very vivid moment when I was moving to New York City, and I was getting ready to like take hold of my life, and my parents sat me down. They took me to the nicest dinner they could probably never afford, but it was a lot of money for us to spend on each other, and they told me thank you, and I was like, what? Thank you for what? Like, you're my parents, and they said thank you for teaching us what it meant to be Christian. And I was like, what happened? I was like, well, the day you came home and you told us what they were doing to you at these places, we realized how wrong we were and how messed up our perspective on this was. And we've opened up our hearts the last couple of years to meeting some of the most beautiful people. We would have probably never opened our heart without you. So thank you for being in our lives. And I remember just crying with my parents. And it was like a few days before I moved to New York City by myself. And I remember just thinking,
what a place to move to from that, by the way. I
Right,
have to say, wow.
But it was just a very, like, we took that moment, we enforced it into being the most powerful thing we ever learned together. And I realized, I was like, I tell this to any kid who I meet who's Mormon, who's like learning from their parents, I say, it's hard to be the biggest lesson in your parents' lives. But when you become that lesson, you will be closer to your parents than you could have ever imagined. You'll be the strength for your siblings. You'll be the strength for future generations. Like, and that's what makes what we do so powerful. Like, if we can take that and put it into music and put it into a project and project that into the world, you've already accomplished something greater than yourself. And like, that's been my motivation. My parents helped me understand that myself, and I've taken that with me the whole way. Like, that was 21. So here we are, 27. Like, we're still going strong, and I don't think it's ever stopped. Like, that's what you do with conversion therapy.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
And I think it bleeds through your music, and that's why I think your fans respond to you, Pride City after Pride City. Adam, what was your recovery with your parents like after? Did you have a recovery? What's your relationship now?
Well,
We're getting so deep on the show, by the way. Yeah.
Wow.
that was a 2-decade process. I think through my 20s, I resented them for a long time.
Yep.
I moved to LA after college, and I did not go home to visit my family for a few years. And I think, you know, you have family of origin and you also have a family of choice. And so I think in my 20s, I created bonds with particularly women who kind of filled a surrogate mother role in my life. And so, you know, there were times where, you know, I would hardly even communicate with my family because I was very angry with them. And it was not only wanting to change, you know, my sexuality, but it also took them a longer time to get on board with me wanting to go down the artist path. I mean, my choice to be an actor was something that that they weren't on board with for a long time. So, yeah, I think I just initially shut them out. But then I discovered Buddhism later in adulthood, and something that came out of, you know, kind of I guess my own spiritual awakening. Someone told me you have to accept the apology that you're not going to receive.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And so that perspective was a change in me. And so I just kind of I think I just focused on myself and my own healing, and rather than need their permission to be a gay man or be an artist, I just started living my life in those ways. So, you know, to be in relationships or that were meaningful and not just about promiscuous sex or to attach myself to men who valued me and didn't disrespect me. These are
I feel
things.
attacked.
These are things I had to teach myself rather than they weren't lessons that I learned from home in the way that like when I'm a father one day I would want to teach my children to how to date. So I had to do that work myself, and then also just do the work of I don't need anyone's permission other than my own to be an artist. So I think once and that really happened for me when I moved to New York in 2015. I was not acting in LA. I was not making music in LA. Though all these, the things that I'm, how I'm working now, they only really happened in the last 5 years of my life. I mean, I had done other things like this short, but yeah, my life really changed in significant ways in New York. So then I think once they saw these big changes happen in me, they once saw, oh, our son is, we should be proud of him. So I think they
making African American history
effort
on Billboard. I mean, that's pretty hefty.
So they, finally my mother did apologize. She said the world was very different in 1997 than it is now. Would we have acted the same way if we had different information? Of course not. So, yeah, my parents have met, one of my boyfriends, and I'm able to actually talk to them about dating and things like that now without them changing the subject or there being a like an awkward pause on the phone. And
it's about conversation.
Yeah.
Just being able to have transparency.
Yeah.
What's your ex's name and phone number?
Which one?
I am.
Oh,
Number.
He's been dating.
Oh my
And
goodness.
I want to take a little. We're going to take a short section of "Change the World," and you have changed the world with this selection.
Woohoo.
Let's check out some of Adam Davenport's EDM, "Change the World." This is so different from your filmmaking. This is so different from your acting. How did you first find out that you had charted on Billboard and kind of made history for African Americans? P.S. Since I'm politically incorrect on the show, can I just say black, or do I have to say African American?
No, say black.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, you can say colored if you want.
Oh my God!
Lord have mercy.
We're such in an age of political correctness. It's like I want to get to the conversation. So thank you for saying that. And so when did you first find out that you had made history as the first African American on an EDM Billboard chart?
Well, I got an email from the promoter I was working with, Bobby Shaw. It sounds like we're both
working
with
with him.
Yep.
Bobby.
I love Bobby.
So yeah, the email came through. I saw the chart position that I had broken into the top 40. And so where was I? I was in the Lower East Side with groceries.
Probably all healthy groceries.
Well, I was getting groceries for an ex-boyfriend. Well, he was my boyfriend at the time. So I was getting ready to cook dinner. It was like a Thursday night. And
what were you going to make? I just have to know.
Oh my God, my memory's not that specific.
Chicken and
This is an
broccoli.
interview. We're sizing you up.
It probably
Chicken
had
and broccoli, not if he was in a bottom.
It probably had a pasta.
That's
and
not better.
It depends on the
No,
time.
pasta's better because it's...
Let him finish.
Oh, sorry.
Wait, did you say if I was gonna bottom?
No.
I'm not a bottom.
So he was.
First of all,
No kidding, we know.
No,
Even though, if you look at his Instagram gym pics, booty bump, booty bump. Anyway,
she knows how to get the bottoms going.
Yes.
But here we
That
are.
was
So she was
broccoli.
getting
Sorry.
groceries.
Yes.
asparagus,
Oh.
kale.
You're trying to take your bottom to the moon.
Finding out a lot of good times.
warm beet salad.
Oh,
no,
God,
no.
you are giving us ammunition.
So I saw the email,
Drink more equality vodka.
Equality vodka.
and no, I rushed home, and well, first I texted my boyfriend, and he thought we were still getting to know each other because I think we had been dating for like a month, so he
You
was
were
always.
making him dinner after a month? You
Dude,
are
I make dinner
amazing.
the day after I
Called
sleep with
swoon.
somebody.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
I moved in like 6 weeks later. I moved fast.
Oh, you're lesbian. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah,
I mean,
well,
no.
I'm a lesbian in the gay man's bodybuilder.
You heard his second moms were women. I mean, let's not judge.
Yeah, true.
So he was always fact checking everything. Like anytime that something would come up that he found impressive, he wasn't sure whether you embellishing that or you lying. So
Like your Grindr profile.
I'm like, Google it.
well, my Grindr profile is linked to my Instagram.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah,
for
so you
you.
can
wow.
verify.
I love when that happens, by the
No
way.
fear.
I'll double check.
Literally. Oh,
It's got to be
Lord.
transparent,
Yeah.
So, no, I called him, and so then of course he needed to see the email, and then when I got home, and then I think he asked me to forward it to him, and then he like sent it to his business partner, because then he started like,
What?
humble bragging about it. So
So
How
we're definitely not
romantic.
dating this person
No,
anymore.
no, I don't. No, that was
no.
That was a
that
minute
was-
ago,
that was
but
a
still.
minute ago. That wasn't the
Damn.
most really recent.
Adam, you were part of the Black community as well as the LGBT community.
I
Today's social... Yes, you are. I saw your profile visiting from NYC.
It's like hashtag lucky us. But please continue. continue.
In today's social and political climate, there can still be a division and bigotry within our own minority groups, which I talk very openly about on the show.
Yep.
You can talk about body positivity. You can talk about female equality. You can talk about ageism, whatever. As much as there are hot buttons for us and that we're like, oh, we're all accepting, not always the case.
No.
What is your message to both of these communities from your own personal experience?
Well, the most racist experiences I probably have encountered have come from other members of the gay community. And the most homophobic things I've experienced have come from other African Americans. You would think that when you're part of a marginalized community that you would have empathy for anyone that belongs to an other. But I think because this is a whole other conversation, but because of tribalism, we unfortunately don't have that empathy for other communities. So I think what I would have to say is when I now have the confidence when I do experience something like that to just call it out and just say, I think you just have to say like, oh, that's what you just said is racist, or what you said is really homophobic. When a lot of people get uncomfortable and they laugh, but when you are silent or you do laugh or you look the other way, you're actually enabling it. Yep. So I had an experience like that actually this week. I read a post on social media. Unfortunately, a lot of these things I do encounter on Facebook from friends. So they posted something that was a Black History Month post, but it was not celebrating Black culture. It was actually putting down Black women. And so I texted this friend who happens to be a gay white man, and I said, what I just read that post, and I'm really disappointed, and I'm personally offended by it.
Good for you.
I have to say,
Good for you.
that's so weird because every gay white man I've met wants to be a black woman. And they try to dance, like literally.
True.
But that's so aggressive to me.
It's a great point, though. It's a wonderful
But it's
point.
also having that conversation, the fact that you took the time to have that conversation, what was the result?
Well, that's still pending. This happened in the last 48 hours.
Do you have his phone number? Let's call him right now.
I was supposed to.
We literally could call him right now.
Sure.
You know what?
We were supposed to.
Privilege.
It'll be Pete.
Clearly
Let's not put
yeah.
anyone on the spot for their privilege. Privilege
No,
is the
no.
definition of ignorance. But I think that's as friends.
When are you running for president?
I'm a white passing Hispanic. So at the end
Oh
of the
my
day,
God, Joey, that's one of the comments from is a Latino white passing man.
that is what I am. But like prospectively, everything you're speaking is so true because like I'm often in situations where I'm with a group of white men, very successful. Most of them have a lot of money from their parents, and they'll make comments while I'm in the room or the car or whatever situation with them, and I have to take the moment to remind them, I am a minority. My brothers are very, very dark. They do not pass for white. And I do not appreciate what you are putting out in the world because my own siblings, and my perspective on privilege is from the fact that I have white skin. I live a very privileged life. That is very true. But I've had to witness at even a young age, 10 years old, when I'm invited to a white man's party, but my siblings are not. And the only thing that's different between me and my brothers and sisters are the color of our skin. So it's a perspective that, like, if you're not willing to say something, people don't know. Their privilege is that they are ignorant to all the positives they get to enjoy in life. And so it's our job to kind of just get in there and be like, hey, that wasn't right. And let me just be that lesson for you. Let me be a lesson in your life to say, hey, privilege is okay. Nobody's holding it against you. But at this level, I can. And I want you to know that you need to correct it. And a lot of people, they just don't know. They genuinely don't know. And it's our job just to remind them. So good for you. Thank you for reminding your friend. They need friends like you to really reach that level where their privilege is helping people and not just hurting them.
Yeah.
You're so analytical. Just so you guys know, Joey Suarez, very good with the numbers. He studied tax law as a backup plan. Of course. At the age of 21, he was managing a tax firm on Fifth Avenue in NYC.
Wow. You're a nerd. I was a nerd. Like I love
life.
Yes, but let me tell you, like,
These nerds are running around like, come on.
But like perspective is real, and numbers and analytics are like my thing, but also like it's a product of my upbringing. I'd love to hear your opinion on privilege though, as far as like what we're describing.
Like, God, where do I even start?
But it's so important.
So I have a brother who is gay, and he just came out to our family about a year ago now.
He's so sweet.
Oh, he's the best. He's
He
the
is
bee's
so
knees.
sweet.
Frankie, I love you.
But he's also very passable, by the way.
Well,
like, I expect him to have
he's
a
so
wife
chill.
and-
Yeah, like he's not like the WeHo out and about. Like he stays at home. He's just very to himself
He
a
doesn't
lot.
wax his eyebrows.
Right, he's not. You wouldn't
And-
expect it.
And I think that's a lot because he didn't know how to grow up to be himself. So he was always forced to be the person that he wasn't allowed to be, even though we all kind of knew. It was just we just didn't even talk about it. We just kind of let him go, And so he came out about a year ago on accident because somebody outed him to our mom.
Poor baby.
On purpose because he rejected that person. So he walked up to our mom and said, your son is a,
When
he's
I find
gay."
out who you are, I'll show you what
I know,
true trolling
I know.
is.
So
That's so crazy to me.
yeah,
Crazy.
and so our mom, she has issues. She can't accept that he's gay still. She's worried about him being on prep. And it's like, it's him being,
Good worry.
careful.
Good worry, Mom.
Well, to a degree. She just doesn't understand the lifestyle. She doesn't understand that he is free to date whoever he wants. She doesn't understand anything.
Right.
And he's
to
literally
go,
one of the sweetest people.
Oh, he's the best. He's the best. So to go back on your parents to say that things were different back in 1997, that's my mom's constant excuse as a white woman. Oh, things are different in the 60s. I'm stuck in the way I was raised. Well, get the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
Things are different. You have a child that needs a mom who loves him, and he's scared to even talk to you. He still can't date and tell her. He doesn't even know how to properly date because he's even though he's out,
Right.
he's still scared to be openly out, which is so unfortunate.
And we're not the most welcoming community for.
But I mean,
Well,
that's
yeah.
not entirely
New people, too.
true. I think we're not openly public about how open we truly are with each other. But like you said, it was literally you choose who your family are.
Oh yeah, he's got a really good support system
There you
outside of
go.
the family. But when it comes to what he wants deep down, I know that he wants that supportive family, and it's really unfortunate. But
Sounds like he has it. He sounds
oh,
like he has you.
yeah.
He has you.
Yeah, he and I are very close. He lives in Beverly Hills, so I see him all the time.
Good.
and-
Like
yeah.
like I said, it's hard. It's the hardest lesson to learn for yourself is you're being your parents' lesson.
Dude, and okay, so to go on your thing was one of the best, because my mom's been an issue all of our lives, to like go back on the
You
trauma
even shared that
moment.
journey during the American
so,
Idol,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was the whole thing. But to go back on what you were saying, one of my adults that I cherish as a parent, technically, he always told me when my mom had an issue, he said it's hard to raise good parents because it sometimes does. It falls on us as children to really show our parents what life is becoming, where the world's going, because they're so ignorant and because they're so fucking privileged that they don't understand what's happening around them and they don't even want to accept it.
Well, they have the limitations of how they were raised. So
Right.
that's
And they just use it as an
generation
excuse
before.
all the
but
time.
you can't get past your kids. And
You
your
guys-
kids are a beautiful lesson to learn.
I'm giving the closing speech at P-Flag this weekend. This is perfect. So I didn't know what I was going to talk about. This is exactly what I'm going to talk
This
about.
is everything. This is what Pride stands for. You
It
bring your
is.
parents to Pride because you want to show them, I'm a part of a community and I miss you.
Yeah.
And so, Effie, this is one of the questions we got too. You are a constant ally to the LGBT community. What was your first experience with our community, and why does it hold such a big place in your heart, other than the obvious we should all love each other?
Oh no, I'm gonna start crying because I've had enough vodka now. No, so my best friend Ian.
You're not flying the plane. You're just sitting on the plane.
Yeah, come on, more vodka. My best friend Ian, he's been my best friend. Wait, how am I? 28, so 14 years now. We're going on 15 years of friendship. And in high school, when things were rough, his family would make me lunch to bring to school. They would bring me clothes when I needed new clothes. He was my greatest asset. Like, he was always there for me, loved me to death. And we had a falling out when I was ignorant, because I accept that I was ignorant at some point. I didn't like anything that was going on because of my environment.
Are you kidding?
Oh, no, it was bad. Like, and my brothers and I, we all moved out of it. And I'm very proud to say that we're all very accepting of every asset of life, every aspect. But there was a moment in my life when I was like, oh my God, you're too gay. Like, I just can't handle it. And so we went 2 years without talking. And then we reconnected. And it was like no time had passed. And that's when I realized this is my best friend. And I need to be there for him at all fucking times. Every waking hour. You know, he'll text me at 4 a.m. when he's got issues. I'll wake up. I don't care. I'll talk to him. You know, I wake up and I have a whole blog of shit that I need to read. I'll respond. And so getting off of American Idol and my first few jobs were Pride events, I could not have been more proud to do that shit because ultimately Ian was how I got better, how I grew up. And hopefully I will send this to Ian, but he already knows all this shit. But and ultimately it's how I accepted my brother, because I had somebody like that in my life, and my brother Ian was there for my whole family, not just me. So my brother got to grow up around a beautiful person like Ian and his family as well. So my brother Frankie, he's dealing with his own issues as a gay man now, but I feel like he already has a little bit more confidence because he experienced what it is to be a good person, and he experienced the love from another gay man from the get-go. So I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky.
He's lucky.
And I'll never, ever stop being an ally.
Well, I'll tell you, my first experience with Effie was out at the fair in San Diego. You and I took the train down from L.A. because we like to drink and we won't drink and drive, because you shouldn't.
And you're not allowed to drive?
But I didn't know.
Small note.
Wow. Wow.
Let me take off my glasses. There's enough
You
shade in
mentioned
here.
it earlier.
I know, but you don't have to reiterate. But I remember being on the train, and I was like, that's fabulous, because I remember you were wearing like a 1950s
I still was in my pinup stuff.
light blue, and I was like, God, this
I mean,
Yeah. And then we were backstage, and I was like, can I get a selfie? I was like, oh. Then you went on stage, and there was a silence that came over, and you performed for over 3,000 people that day.
Yeah.
And Out at the Fair moved from, like, the gay stage to it was the general main stage. And there was a silence that came over. And I was like, wow, there's a message there. Your message is very powerful.
Thank you.
and I really, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. Did I interrupt you just now? I'm blind, so I can't see when your mouth.
You're blind?
I'm actually legally blind.
Do you know I'm
by the
really
way.
thin and beautiful?
You know, your excuse is that I guess the government took away your license. They never gave me one. They were like, no, your eyes don't work well enough. That's
Nobody
dangerous.
needs a license anymore.
I'm all sorts of messed up in the vision. I'm legally blind. You'll never see me drive a car.
I'm so close. So
I
I'm
mean,
glad.
We're
It's only a
becoming
matter
best
of years.
friends
so I'm
after a
good.
while.
But-
Like, you don't have a car in LA. We're becoming.
I mean, see, here
More
we go.
best
We all
friends.
Uber, but
Yeah.
I want to comment on what everyone else is saying because it's like kind of a conjoined feeling here for me personally. It's like when I met you, Effie, we were at a Jacksonville Pride. That was like 2 years ago.
Holy shit.
Yes, I headlined Jackson. That was my first headlining gig. You were performing
Oh my
with
God.
Ada,
Yes.
who's a friend from mine
We
in San
love
Antonio.
Ada.
I love Ada. She's an amazing person. Hire her. I remember performing with you guys, and it was my first big gig. It was the first biggest gig I was ever handed, and I was with my best friend there, and her name is his name is Chris. Their name is Chris. They can decide. But it speaks to everything you're saying, having a best friend to teach you something. And as a gay man, this also speaks to the question when he asked you earlier, of like, what's it like to be an African American black man and still receive prejudice? My experience was that my best friend ended up being trans, and I remember being like just feeling like I was part of this gay community. I was getting socially famous, and I was like, do I really understand my community? I was like, I don't really understand trans people. I've never met one. 3 months later, my best friend calls me, I'm trans. And I was like, that moment of just like, you live it out from the beginning.
I have been there
from
on
the
such-
beginning.
Yeah.
Right? Like you realize from when you were 12 years old, and this is the person I came out to. This is the person that showed me EDM music. This is the person that was there when I came out of the closet to my family. This is the person that took me in when I came out. This is the person that found me in the street when I was doing drugs. This is the person I call no matter who it is, what time it is. And they just came out as trans to me. I mean, like, it was a mind fuck as a gay man, because you think you know everything, you don't know shit until someone you know and you love and you care about more than anything in the world is going through that, and suddenly it means everything. And a lot of people come to me and they're like, trans rights, why are you worried about trans rights? I'm like, gay rights are great, but trans rights. I was like, because gay men need to learn something. And that best friend to me to this day is the inspiration to my music, the inspiration to my career. I take her to them to everything I can. They don't get on me about pronouns, but I try.
Oh, and I had this message. You guys can listen to my episode of Pride podcast. It's the official Pride. I had that same conversation. We get so angry about pronouns now. Let's open up the conversation.
Right.
Like you said, I get pronouns wrong. We're going to get them wrong for the next 10 years.
Forever.
probably.
Right.
Yeah.
I trip
Still
out
tough.
about it. I trip out all the time. Like my best friend, I'm like, did I say it right? And she's like, them. She literally says, I don't care. She's like, you know me for so long. Like, it doesn't matter to me. You love me
Yeah.
the way I am. And they're beautiful. Like these people, I call them my soulmates. And I tell my boyfriend, he knows. I'm like, just so you know, you will never, they are my soulmates. They
Yeah.
are everything.
You told your boyfriend he's never going to be your soulmate?
I mean, he'll never. I mean,
That's literally what I took from that.
that's like-
You
let's
guys-
be honest. I'm
I've been
sorry.
there.
It's
I've
true.
been there.
Like my best friends are. If I tell them every day, I'm like, if I ever lost your friendship, I would lose who I am. And I told my boyfriends, I'm like, if you can't speak to my best friends about what I'm feeling, then you don't know who I am. And that's a fact.
Oh, you think that's bad? I've literally told a boy. Well, so it begins. I've
I
literally
love
told.
Effie Passero more than life.
I've literally told a boyfriend. I was like, just so you know, my career will always come before you.
Amen.
Music
It
is
has to.
always before you.
that.
And so he did not know
has
how to
to.
handle that, and so now we're
No,
broken
has
up.
to.
But
All right, we have to take a quick break. We're going to take a break so we can take our infamous, horrible selfie that I take, which you can see at On The Rocks on air on Instagram. And when we come back, we're going to have a little bit
do we
more
have
to
to say
chat.
we don't have to say goodbye, do we?
No. When we come back, we have a little bit more to chat about. We're looking at Joey's latest release.
Oh.
And then
a
we're
thing.
doing rapid fire. So when we come back.
Ooh.
Okay, you guys have to crowd in. So
wait.
it's a
Oh,
joke
God.
that I take the worst selfie. You guys have to. You guys have to crouch in. There we go.
Where's your face is like not even in there.
That's the joke. It's like, oh God,
Can
it's
we
my
take
show.
like a decent one?
I
Or
mean,
do we do that at
We're
the
gonna
end?
do, yeah.
Well, at the end, we'll make
Do I have 40 seconds to pee? Or
No.
I don't
And
see
we're
it.
back.
Okay. Oh, no.
Oh no, I need
like,
to
no,
pee too.
and we're
So we all.
We're here. We're now.
So we've been talking about collaborations. Joey, Never Coming Down.
Oh my god. So
We
exciting.
need to take a peek because we have an assumption, and some of your past songs, we see like Joey, like the young twink, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I love this piece of music because we get to see a range of your voice
Thank you.
and sexuality.
Yes.
So, Kurt, if we can take a little peek. Never Coming Down. I love this so much, by the way.
The visuals.
It's literally on my playlist. When I do any cardio, it's this.
So walking to the liquor store.
How dare you, my lady. I've been working out by the way. Did you notice?
Her wit is on point today.
It's the equality.
This is sexy, and this is celebrating sexuality.
And weed.
Lose yourself in the maze and take a bow now. Everything you dreamed about going down.
That voice.
Now. Feel the air, fill your lungs with truth.
She's so beautiful.
Pushing through the past so fast like a firefly. Look at us now, the stars in a new sky. Signs in the night, watching out over you. Follow me now. Feel the love, feel alive. So high, we're never coming down. We're never coming down.
Oh, okay, wink.
Take it in, breathe it out. So high,
I don't know I did that.
coming down. We're never coming down.
This is
Oh
the
my God.
song for the summer.
No, this is a great song.
Thank you.
Her voice is lovely.
She produced the whole thing.
Okay, boobs.
All right, you guys, Never Coming Down.
Yay!
Just released like last week,
Last
right?
week, yeah, literally. So, like last week, it's been amazing.
I want to talk about collaboration because that must be difficult.
Oh my God, it's rare. It's rare to find people you connect to on a musical level, and then you meet a lot of people you think, "Wow, you're amazing." Like, I think you're amazing. I know Effie's amazing, and you always hope when you meet someone like y'all that you can collaborate on something.
Did you say y'all?
Texas came
I'm
out
Texas.
for 2 seconds.
Okay.
I'm
Texas,
from
2
Texas.
secs.
It
Yeah,
happened.
okay.
But like you always hope that you can you can collaborate with amazing people.
Oh,
but when you
no, not
actually
yet.
do it, when you sit there and you both go, we
Whoa,
just did something
yeah.
that we talked about 6 months ago.
Yeah.
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 And you look at each other and you like I
It's
mean
invigorating.
when I met Jackie, we barely knew each other. Nowadays, like I swear to God, she's like my sister. Like she's literally one of the closest people I have. She's helped me get through going on labels and being approached by labels and being on Billboard and going through all these things I never thought I would experience. So to have someone you can collaborate with but also connect to is so rare because
It is.
in our world it's not very
And
common.
it's so beautiful.
It's just weird because music to me is so personal. You know, I just like the way that you and David collaborate is so odd to me because,
It wasn't natural.
yeah, it's
No, it's
would-
well, and it's partially because of myself. Like I was mentioning earlier, I was not so open to just being in rooms with other people. I thought that my music was my music only, and I was so scared to share it with anybody in case somebody took over and wanted to change a lyric that I really was close to. And I didn't know at the time that if you're in a room with people, you all have to acknowledge the strengths in each other.
Yeah.
And recently you were in Capitol Records
Yeah.
doing an amazing session with how many different types of musicians?
It was crazy. So I work with Capitol Records baby label. It's called Studio Masters, and we all work together to create cover songs and like very similar type music to whomever they're looking to put in movies. Is a syncing label specifically. So I was literally forced into rooms with people all the time. Trying to write with people, and it took me a long time to get over my own ego. And I think that is another thing that has a lot to do with writing with other people. We can love each other's music all day long, but when you get in a room with each other, Whoa,
Yeah,
there's a lot we have to
He's
unpack.
a team player.
That's a really good
yeah,
point,
and so I'm very grateful that I've become more of a team player, and now I look at somebody and I watch them play, and I go, wow, okay, you're an amazing instrumentalist. Let's use, instead of me playing piano, how about you play piano? How about I write lyrics, or how about I write the top line or whatever? It's such an intricate thing, and it's so beautiful. And it's memorable every time.
Yeah.
Well, especially because I'm so new to it. So every time I've written something, I keep it close to my heart, because 2 years ago I would have never even fucking thought about it, because I thought, my music's good. What if these people suck?
Yeah.
But everybody has something to give. And with David and I, there are no other American Idol alums that are writing together like we do. There are no other people that are going and doing these gigs and doing events and singing in Mexico. We tour Mexico together. And it's become more of a writing thing, and it's just become a kindred spirit thing. I'm so grateful that I have this person that I can do all these things with. Yes, we have our bad days, as does everybody who has writing partners.
Yes.
But the beautiful days outweigh the bad days.
I feel the difference is that you guys are performers that happen to be on American Idol, rather than I only have American
true.
Idol to
It's true.
to bank
To
on.
write on, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to interrupt you. I mean, I've had the honor of sharing a stage with you and David before during our Viper Room show,
I
which is
know.
awesome. And I have way more CBD gifts for you this time.
Oh,
I brought gift bags,
dude.
by the way.
Oh, shit.
I
Because
did.
the gummies were the best thing.
Ooh, we
Wait,
brought you new
They put
things.
me to
What
sleep.
kind of gifts do you have?
I brought a bunch of CBD gifts from my
I know,
sponsors.
we should
They're
talk about his
amazing.
sponsors.
Go ahead and dole them out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. This is the thing. Okay, right. Everybody in this room is getting a bag.
Oh,
Wow.
you're really going to sleep on your flight tonight, baby.
Are you allowed to take CBD
Full
on the
rest.
plane?
Yes, you
Yes,
can.
you can.
take it on-
LAX just started. Oh, wait. Are you flying
Yeah.
out of Burbank or LAX?
LAX.
Dude, LAX
You're done.
literally just
And it's
passed a new
JetBlue.
line.
Jet.
Pass it to our wonderful sound man. And there's another bag for our lovely
He's
lady out in
gonna
the hallway.
play Harry Potter role play with his wife and do this.
Wait,
So
you do
these
that?
are just like,
a
I mean,
honey stick?
a honey stick, and these are amazing brands.
Which
who
one's
sup-
gonna help me sleep?
All of them.
The honey stick.
I mean,
put it in your tea.
Put in your tea.
Do like some
There's probably
throat coat
gummies in
tea?
there, maybe a lotion,
use
a
throat coat,
drink
come
mix.
on.
I mean, and these are just. I think what's really great is these are companies that support gay artists. Like I approach them and I say, "Hey, I'm gay. I'm out there. I'm open. I'm supporting you." And they've thrown in they throw into my projects. It's really well, a Tiger Heat. They paid for a lot of that show for us.
Ooh, I've
And
used this
but
before.
speaking to that, Effie and David's like as far as their dynamic on stage is so unforgettable. It's amazing.
So I won't go to
Seeing-
jail if I.
No, you'll be perfectly fine. I
No.
promise. You can
Okay,
take that
great.
with you.
I already used this. That's
Good.
really
You got more.
Yes.
And I think that
I'm
like
gonna stir that CBD stick in my coffee.
and if you
anything.
tag them, they'll share you.
Maybe,
They love
but-
you. I told them that you guys would be here, and they were so excited to send you gifts. So this comes from them to
Well,
you.
Thank you, guys.
So this is love to you. I'm just a messenger.
Thank you, Joey.
All of you, everyone.
I can't wait to try it because I do need a good night of sleep.
Oh, thanks.
And
But-
also, CBD is doing a lot of work with cancer patients.
I mean, CBD, cannabis, one of my favorite parts of being an owner in cannabis and being involved in the cannabis industry the way that I am is combining music and weed. Because cannabis,
Snoop Dogg.
I
hello.
mean, Snoop Dogg does it a whole
his
different
son
way.
just came out, by the way. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I saw that. It was amazing. Good for
With
him.
a photo shoot.
Good
Snoop
for
Dogg
him.
is like, if you're gonna come out, we're gonna do it right.
I mean, Snoop Dogg is the king of swag.
Yes.
Plus,
He
his
does- he
godmother's
gives
Martha
zero
Stewart.
shits.
Like,
He is the
you have to be
godfather of weed. We love him. And so, like, I'm excited to just take a piece of that into my music. Like, I'm so excited to share this with y'all. I'm so excited that we've done shows where brands like cannabis get to, like, support amazing acts like you and David.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that you guys came out with a song because I was like, finally the world gets to hear what I heard on stage.
Yeah.
And I think
amazing.
it's, oh my God, if y'all want to hear a real performance, just see it on stage. It's incredible. She's incredible at the keys. They're both incredible singers. American Idol didn't deserve you.
Do you ever get in a bad
Please
mood, by the way?
stop some more.
Oh, no. I know the
please.
producers. I'm talking to you. I'll see you
Joe,
at lunch.
no, do you ever get like in a bad mood? He's been like so positive this whole time. I'm
Wait,
like,
no,
I want to
wait.
see
I
Joey's
have-
like pissed off.
I have a question.
What?
Since we're what?
Excited.
Since
We
we're
do have
talking
to wrap up,
about
too.
oh shit. Okay, so after this question, real quick, since we're talking about CBD. CBD is a beautiful thing for me. Like, it helps me go to sleep. It helps me calm down. But weed, on the other hand, like straight up weed, and especially as
Weed
artists.
ended me up at Beverly Hills Police Station.
Well, especially as artists, like I hear all the time, like, "I'll just smoke some weed and write some music." It does not have that effect for me. What is your
that's a good question, actually.
anti-writing medicine? Like, what is the worst thing you could do when you want to write music?
Oh, you want to answer that first?
The worst thing I could do.
Yeah, because I if I smoked, I would die. Like, it's not happening.
Can I
for me.
partner this with a listener question?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
EDM is very
Like drug
separate
heavy.
and alone. It's not like you're collaborating. You're taking somebody else's song and you're kind of restructuring that, but it's all on your own. So nobody's there like, oh, that beat's good or my voice sounds good there. You're literally doing it on your own, which is kind of a lonely experience. So mix that all up.
Okay.
I think having the phone is the worst thing I can have. So I turn my phone off or in airplane mode because that I think you have to have a dialed in focus because you might be when you're mixing, for instance, you're taking you're working on one channel, for instance, and you're playing with levels. It's so easy to go on Instagram or to check an email or a text because it's very tedious. So I feel like the worst thing is just having this present.
I felt that.
Yeah.
My turn?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. Sobriety, like same, no, straight up.
I drink a bottle of wine. I'll
yes.
sit there and just drink and write.
Yes.
Only wine though.
Because
any
like,
other liquor is not my
I
friend.
think when you come from a lot of technical backgrounds, because I was also trained 12 years in opera. Because I was, I was. I know. I went through a lot.
Wait, we have to wrap up, Joey, and
I'm
you're
sorry,
just saying this out loud.
What?
I was. I went to magnet schools. I was literally in musical programs my whole childhood. So I was
magnet. I
Yes.
love that life.
Guys, this is
I've
part
been
one
there.
of part two. Like,
so-
this is crazy.
I know. So Joey and I are gonna have to come back.
clearly
for
'cause
next
we
week.
connect on so many levels.
Adam has to come back just so we can do this.
Well, I've been in opera productions at the Met Opera.
Oh, that's
Yes.
Been in two
Wait,
shows.
wait.
Yes.
What is happening? We cannot.
I feel
close.
like we can't close. There's so much.
Trepco.
What
Oh, I haven't
show? Wait,
experienced
hold
Touches
on.
on.
Which operas were
I
you
was
in? Like really quick, just
I was
rapid
in
fire.
Aida.
You guys, Kurt
Okay,
couldn't be less impressed right now. He's like,
I
can
know,
I
he's
go
like,
home?
he just wants to go home
And
with his
whatever.
life. Rapid fire.
Here's what I have to do. We're going to do a last call real fast. So who needs a little
Yes.
top off?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good.
We're good.
Oh, just me?
Cheers.
Cheers.
This is why Effie and I will probably just like
We'll die
run
together.
the world.
I can't wait to not walk the carpet. They're like, wait, no, it's over. Okay, never mind.
It's queer tea.
They won't. I'm not nominated. We're good.
It's queer tea, so they're used to a lot of
No comment.
mishaps
Philandery,
on the
yeah.
red carpet.
No comment.
Okay, so we end the show by doing rapid fire. But I have to say, there
Rapid
we
fire?
go. Who wants to go first?
Me.
Yes.
Effie,
Yeah.
most overrated pop song.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
The new Demi Lovato song. Anyone?
We mean what all the twinks in West Hollywood are singing?
I'm sorry. Actually, no, I'm not sorry. There are so many artists that are singing that same exact fucking shit. And because she sang it at the Grammys, everybody's dying over it. I have written songs like that. I'm sure in your darkest hours, you guys have written songs like that. You're not even a musician, and you've probably thought songs
But
like
I'll
that.
sing it.
You
I've
know,
sang Mbop at my own cabaret.
and also, it's the same exact chord progression as like so many other pop songs. There's not a lot of shimmer to it in my eye. And when I hear people doing covers of it that are like, oh, my life is rough. Yeah, we're all going through rough times.
Yeah.
But that song is not the song to sing. There are other songs. I mean, everybody had a war cry at some point that was desperate for attention. And they didn't get the notoriety that that song's getting. I just think that it's a little... I'm glad that it's bringing some awareness. But
Right.
I just think it's a little overrated.
It's a very skewered message if you look at it
Yes.
from the heart of what
Because
it
she's
comes
still
from.
making cajillions of dollars.
Yes.
And she was still wearing a $17,000 dress or whatever. A lot of us are sitting in our rooms contemplating actually
this
killing
question.
ourselves. And we're wearing our PJs.
Good for you.
I love this. Not rapid fire answer. And our studio is haunted, and when a ghost doesn't like, they shut the lights off, and that literally turned off.
Sorry
Okay.
if you have offense.
Okay, rapid fire. You have to give an American Idol critique to Taylor Swift. Go.
Write better songs.
Duet. No, that's fine. Duet with any singer that has passed.
Prince.
You guys would be singing the same. Okay. There's a Lifetime movie about your life. What is it called?
Why? Just why?
It's kind of funny. Biggest pet peeve about sharing a dressing room with other singers. Things that they do that just like don't do that.
Oh, when they chew with their mouths when they chew with their mouths open, or they don't wear deodorant.
Yes,
And then it just takes over the entire room.
Reapply. It doesn't last forever. You were just on stage, girl. Okay.
Effie, where can people find you, follow you?
You can find me on Instagram, EFFIEPASSERO, and also the same name on Facebook and everything elsewhere. So go find me, follow me,
You're
stalk
coming
me,
back to the show.
love me.
Yes. Okay, next.
I'll go.
Adam, you have to remake any song by a singer who has passed. What song is it?
At last, at a James.
With a remix?
Yeah. New
How
vocal,
would you make
new
that?
vocal.
I know.
New vocal, I'd use Solange.
Oh shit.
Ooh, girl.
Oh, wow.
Yes, thank you.
That's a
Thank you.
pretty big
Actually,
statement.
I kind of
do
want to
it.
hear that now.
So
So,
if you don't, I'll be
Yeah, yeah.
disappointed.
so literally tomorrow when you get off the plane.
He's going off the plane to rehearsal, by the way.
Okay, so write it on the plane. Wi-Fi.
Adam, unlimited budget to make your next film. What's the film about? Unlimited budget.
Unlimited budget.
Horror film.
Sci-fi.
No, I would.
Are we both trying to get in his pants?
No,
Yeah.
I want to do Captain
you two?
E. Remember the Michael Jackson ride at Disney?
Captain EO!
I want to do Captain EO.
Captain EO.
Captain big budget space opera EDM. Captain EO.
Yes,
Space
sign me up.
So what artist
If I don't
would
get an
you
audition.
use?
Oh my god.
I'll be offended.
I think if
Yeah.
it weren't me playing Captain EO, because I'd have a lot of
You're
responsibilities.
too big to
write and
play
direct.
Captain EO.
No, it could be maybe Usher.
Look how responsible
Usher.
that was. He was like, I couldn't do it all.
Maybe Usher or like.
I have to tell you, that's one of the best responses I've ever heard. I've never gotten Captain EO. What is your favorite guilty pleasure movie that should be made?
Pharrell should be Captain EO. Sorry.
No.
She's like, you're not casting. Who's next?
I'm performing for Instagram. I don't have to hit a high note. I can just do this.
We know you
and
can.
soft sing. Okay. What is your favorite guilty pleasure movie that should be made into an opera? Because you were in the opera of Bonfire of the Vanities, by the way. I found that out.
Awesome.
You guys, I do the best research.
Bridesmaids.
Yes.
Wouldn't that be a great opera?
That would be a great opera.
That would be a
I'm
great
ready
opera.
to party.
I feel like that would be traumatic as a woman to
I-
watch.
I want to see
You
the
had
sex.
Are you fucking kidding me? A cookie!
Oh god, the bathroom scene as an opera when she's.
Oh my God! Me.
Yes.
There's
Could we give one shot?
It's coming
There's
out
a
of me like
lot of.
lava.
Oh,
Kathleen Battle! Kathleen Battle!
Audra
Oh my God,
McDonald.
you guys.
Yes.
That's
All day, every day.
That's probably one of my favorite. You guys, that's really good.
We're gonna be thinking about that all day now.
Audra,
Yeah,
call
literally.
me. She has my number.
Celebrity crush.
Ryan Gosling.
I
Basic.
get that. That's exactly what I think. I get that so many times. I'm like, he'll bore you to tears.
Not
Worst
if I
red.
bareback him.
Ew. Oh,
I'll watch.
look at him. He's so happy. He's gonna be so great.
I mean,
He's gonna be the most cheerful person on this flight tonight. Look at him.
He's gonna be looking, and Ryan Gosling's gonna be like, "I'll take Coach."
and then she'll meet him in the bathroom. But anyways, welcome to Hollywood.
I want to pop. Iglesias. Worst red carpet question you've ever been asked.
Who are you?
You're amazing, Adam Davenport. Before you get back on the plane, tell our listeners where they can find you.
I am Adam Davenport on Instagram.
What time is your flight?
11:35.
Oh God, we gotta run.
And
'Cause I'm like ready to
Spotify,
get to.
Facebook, Adam Davenport.
He's so cute, guys. Go follow him.
Right though.
Joey,
Yeah, I'm here.
He's like
That's
a
a
little
thing.
baby.
You can play any musician in the biopic of their life. What musician is it?
Jesus Christ.
Who would I be, musician-wise? Oh,
Biopic.
Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor.
Ooh, honestly,
They just celebrated 50th anniversary, by the way. Did you know that?
Fuck.
Go.
I would
Go,
choose
Joseph.
honestly Amy Winehouse
Aww.
because
I could see that.
because there's so much realness that I think needs to be expressed over and over again from that. There's been 2 films already, but she could use the 3rd.
I think that's bold. Genre of music that would terrify you to perform a whole set of.
Fuck, opera. Because I've 12 years, but then every time since I've joined pop music, all I do is hear that's too musical theater, that's too opera. All I do is so I've rebelled against everything I've ever learned.
Oh my god.
Everything. So it's hard to go back to that. I
But
wouldn't want to.
a whole set of opera would be like 5 songs
But-
because they're all
10 minutes
long.
long. You can catch me at Effie at our next opera performance.
I know, we gotta
We're
do a
each doing
pop
2
opera.
songs. It's an hour-long show.
The Met Cabaret.
Joey Suarez. This is actually from an ex.
Oh shit.
Whoa, no.
Oh fuck. There's not many. Is it me,
Worst
my ex-husband?
date. Worst date.
Oh.
Ooh.
This has to be rapid fire. Kurt
okay.
has to go home. I have to go pee.
Oh, if
by
it's
the
for
way.
my ex, I only
do
have an
I.
ex-husband.
So
So
do
I mean,
No, but worst date in the whole history of life.
Oh, worst. Oh my God, worst date. I'll tell you, the worst date would be when I'm in the middle of a date and I have to tell them that I'm going through a divorce,
Oh.
and they never call me back.
Wait, are you going through a divorce now?
No.
Oh.
I've been divorced for like 3 years, but I was married for like 6, so no worries.
Oh, so in all of your research, you didn't know that?
You mean I wasn't? I
I knew
like
he
my
had a
ex.
long-term boyfriend.
I
Wow.
love my ex. He's an amazing man. I'm not spreading negative things
Yeah,
about
but he's
him.
just not legal anymore. Okay.
Oh.
Craziest fan comment, request, or question. And I actually got a copy of one
Can
of
I-
your fan.
Oh God, they
weirdnesses.
asked to see the picture of my feet all the time.
It was feet. It was feet.
They always
It was
wanna
It's
see
hella
my
feet all the time.
They want to see my abs and my feet in the same picture. I'm like, I don't understand the request.
I want you to wear socks or maybe boots. I don't want to see your feet.
I have a 3.5 on Wikifeet.
Oh.
So
Is Wicca feet really a thing?
Oh my God, this can't be a thing.
Kurt just wants to go home and roleplay. Do you know that Wicca feet is a thing?
I'm not checking. I'm not
3.5
checking.
out of 5, so it's not
That's a
like
pretty
the
good foot.
worst.
You've got really nice feet.
But I never had an open foot on American Idol, so I don't understand.
But here's the thing: is like you wear socks, maybe shoes. If you're in bed with me, you. I don't want to see that.
started. Yes.
This is amazing. Joey,
Yes, I'm here.
you have the opportunity to record a duet with Lady Gaga. What song of hers are you re-recording as a duet?
Oh shit.
Ooh, that's a good
I
question.
mean, it would have to be
Thank you.
Bad Romance because Lady Gaga, little does she know, she was the soundtrack to my high school explorations. So
Ew.
Bad Romance. The boy I'm talking about knows who I'm talking
High
about.
school, I was in kindergarten. so- All right, Joey, where can people find you, follow you?
You can find me with my name, Joey W. Suarez, Suarez.
I love that he kept his Latino name.
I mean, God didn't give me a choice, but here I am.
You guys, what a
I'm
weird
not even.
show.
I'm not even ready to end.
No,
Like
we
I feel like the
shouldn't.
3 of us could have talked.
There's
all
so
night.
much more.
Oh, and should I just wait it outside? Because you said 3.
We'll just keep going.
Oh,
I mean,
well,
you're-
no,
you've
the
been
3 of
great
us on your show.
Oh, thank you. So next week, who we have coming on?
Mort.
We have Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Brandy Glanville's coming on. We also have Young and the Restless, newest soap opera hunk, Sean Dominic.
Okay,
And,
wait.
you know,
Can I just be
everybody-
here to
I know. Why
hide
didn't
in
you
the
like
background?
invite me? I mean, I think I got
No,
enough
I'll be
hunk for me
here.
for today. But I mean, if you want, if you need like a side viewer, I'll be there.
Kurt,
know.
Kurt, you ready to turn down? Do you want to give us a little rapid fire?
What do you mean? Like ask you questions? Or-
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that's a great idea.
So let's do like a quick.
We're
quick-
inebriated.
Just
Wait, we're
because
gonna
we
ask
don't want
Kurt.
to.
We drank a
We
whole
don't want
bottle
to
of
end
vodka.
the whole thing.
No. So we're gonna ask Kurt something.
No, Kurt's gonna ask us something.
Yeah. He's gonna do.
What the fuck was that? That was like a Jiminy Cricket pour.
Just do us rapid
I
fire
gotta pee
because
so
nobody
bad.
wants to
I'm
leave.
like-
Me
All
too.
right. Favorite
Yeah,
mixed
like-
drink.
Like,
What?
double
We're both in the
crossing
same boat.
Oh
here.
my god, he brought up Wikifeet? Shut up. Close that shit out.
You guys, wait.
We
So I
all
can tell you.
find out.
Oh my
It's gonna
God.
make me pee my pants.
Wait. So real fast. Kurt he takes all of the pictures of during the show. Kurt, give us a rapid fire question real fast.
We're here.
Real fast.
The most embarrassing question ever.
Seriously, I'm gonna pee my pants. Hurry.
We're both about to be our
No, I have to pee too.
I mean, I don't know these. You're asking the wrong person. I'm like, what's the longest time you've ever had to not pee your pants? I don't know. Hold it.
That's a great question.
Oh my God, too long. Like 7 hours
like,
for
is this it right
taping.
here?
At the Met
sounds
Opera in a
It's the
3.5
worst. I'm so
hour
sorry.
opera.
All right,
They
well, thank you,
win.
Kurt, for bringing it, just like you did.
Mine was an hour.
And you guys, this has been such a fun episode. We're going to see you next Tuesday. Look at our cast pictures after us having to go pee. At On the Rocks on here.
Thank you,
See you next
Alexander.
This has been another episode of On the Rocks. Tweet me and slide into my DMs on Twitter and Instagram at On the Rocks On Air. Find everything On the Rocks for free at OnTheRocksRadioshow.com. Subscribe, like, review, and share. Until next week, stay fabulous.